want to build a wealthier life today, do you not? So if you want to build a wealthier life today, what better people to study than those that did it? Right? When I talk about people that actually did it, I'm not talking about, the John Rockefellers of the world, and these people that we look at in history and we're like, the Rothschilds. Oh, they were wealthy, but also they destroyed people and they made lives worse and made them miserable. No, no, no. I'm talking about, the Teddy Roosevelts, right? My boy Teddy, I've got him right on my desk here, right? I'm talking about, the Andrew Carnegies of the world. I'm talking about the Ben Franklins of the world. That dude was a top 1%er. Okay, I'm talking about Charlie Munger, investing legend, now qualifies to be in that category. All right, all right. Welcome to yet another Finance Friday. I'm Jerry Fetta. So if you're joining me this evening, I want to give a quick introduction to myself, just in case you don't know who I am, right? So I've been doing Finance Friday for the last 5 years now. Every Friday night, we switched it to Saturday for a little while, then back to Friday. But pretty much every Friday night for 5 years now, we've been doing these Finance Fridays. And the reason for that is financial literacy, right? There was a study that gets done each year by the National Financial Educators Council, and they basically surveyed of all working Americans, what was the total amount of money that was lost because of the lack of financial training, right? And I want you to think about this with me because it's pretty real when you think about it. It's not that hard to imagine, right? But I want you to give me a guess. Okay, just take a second, guess what that number would be. We took all the working Americans and we counted up how much money they lost, right? Overdraft fees, credit card interest, overpaid taxes, money lost on investments, you name it. Total amount lost, right? What would that number be? Right? And I'm going to give it to you now that you've given that guess. $388 billion in a single year. $388 billion. Okay, now I want to talk to you tonight about financial education and how you can use the knowledge of money, the knowledge of finances to improve your quality of life. Right, but before I do that, I need to handle a couple of things with you. Number one, I want you coming into this tonight with the idea that this can be learned about. It's not too complicated. This is math and vocabulary. I'm going to keep it real simple. So one of the reasons people don't succeed with money is they think they can't learn about it. They think it's too difficult, too complicated, too hard. Right? Give me a like or a show of hands, right, in the comments if you have had that thought before. Right? This is too difficult. This is too complicated, whatever it might be. Okay. So I need you to remove that consideration because, guys, I grew up in Houston, Alaska. 62 kids in my graduating class, C average student, didn't go to college. Mom and dad were in poverty income level. No inheritances, no nothing. Right? There's no reason why I should be where I'm at today. So let me spin it to you this way. If a kid from Alaska can learn this stuff, you definitely can. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. You've got to remove the idea that you know it all already. Right? I'm going to say something that might sting when you hear it a little bit because it did the first time I heard it. Knowing something is different than succeeding. Right? When I know already. I know. I've heard that. That's really what I'm saying. Oh, I've heard that before. It's kind of like saying I've been to the gym before. Right? If I'm still out of shape, it doesn't matter how many times I've been to the gym before, right? Something's not clicking. Okay, I need to actually have results. If I'm not getting successful results in the area of my knowledge, then I don't know it all. And I need to remove the idea that I know it all. Okay, now here's the third thing. We all like the idea of opportunity, right? If I were to say, hey, I have a $388 billion opportunity for you. You can capture as big a share as you want of a $388 billion market. Right? If I pitch that to you as an investment, or let's say as a business, how interesting would that be? I would probably have your attention. You'd be like, well, tell me what it is. And if I told you it's your own financial illiteracy, right? If you were to become financially literate, there's a portion of that $388 billion that would become yours. And the size of that portion is unlimited. Like you can have as much of it as you want up to the full amount of the pie, right? And here's the beautiful thing about financial training. Like it's not just for broke people. Next, I don't want to interrupt you too long. I just want to give you a free offer for my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. If you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, you can get the book now. I'm going to let you get back to the video. Okay, you show me any person, any net worth, even at the highest level, there's something that they don't know that if they were to learn it, it would improve their financial condition. It would make their net worth go up. It would make their passive income increase. It would make their quality of life better, right? So, my vision is a goal that the majority of wealth is controlled by good people who use it to make the world a better place. That's it. Good people building more wealth and making the world a better place. That's what I'm about. That's what I want to do. Right. And Benjamin Franklin is quoted for saying, well done is better than well said. So I want you guys to learn this stuff as you're watching this training, but I want you to apply it. I want you to win with it. Right. And tonight's training is going to be about this. Okay. And show me some hearts or some hands if you're interested in this. Improving your quality of life now. Improving your quality of life now. Not when you're 60, not 20 years from now, not in a couple of decades, now. Right? I want to be wealthier now. And wealthy, here's the thing, guys, like we hear so much stuff about money, right? You can't really win with something if you don't understand it. Would you agree with that? Like if you have a vehicle, you're only going to drive the vehicle as well as you understand it, right? If you have a relationship with someone, that relationship is only going to be as fruitful as you understand each other. If you have money, money is only going to be as useful as you understand it. Wealth is the same way. And a lot of us don't understand wealth. We think wealth means an abundance of objects and materials and money and riches. Okay, if you go back in the dictionary and you look, one of the definitions of wealth, that's a canceled definition. Literally, it got canceled before cancel culture was even cool. Wealth used to mean happiness. Why would we cancel a definition of wealth that's happiness? Like, I think that's a very helpful definition. Don't you think? If we taught all of our kids, hey, wealth means happiness. Are you living a life that makes you happy? Are others happy because you're around? Right? That's wealth. Wealth means happiness, right? So when you look at the origin of this word wealth, it actually comes from the word well, right? You can trace it back to a Germanic origin of Wohlan, which means literally abundance and prosperity, welfare in all areas of life. Right? You look even further back, the very baseline definition, it means literally to wish. To wish. Right? So let's trace this back. What are some of the things we're taught? We're taught money can't buy you happiness. Money's the root of all evil. Be careful what you wish for. We're taught wishing is ridiculous and dreaming is ridiculous because it's not true and it's not real and it's not going to happen. And just go get good grades so you can get a college degree and get a career and do the 401k and pay off the house. And hopefully someday when you're 60 something, you've got enough money you set aside where you can finally enjoy your life. Okay, I'm here to tell you that that's broken, guys. My mom did that exact system. I've been a financial professional since the age of 18. My mom was my first client, right? And we did it all. We did the retirement account. Okay, we paid off all the debt with her. We sold the house, so she had all the equity. She harvested that. She bought an RV, like a travel trailer. She was about to go live her dream retirement life at age 60. Remember, you can draw off of these retirement accounts that we get told about at age 59 and a half. At age 60, she's diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. She doesn't live 6 months, right? And as her son, I'm devastated. As her financial advisor, I'm devastated. And that's why tonight I want to talk to you about how to build wealth now, how to improve your quality of life now. Okay, now we're going to whiteboard a couple of things out, right? First thing I want to share with you guys is an age-old problem, right? Everyone has this problem to some degree. And the problem is this, it's time versus money. And the riddle of the universe seems to be you never have both. You've got one, you've got the time, but you don't have the money to enjoy the time, or you get the money and you don't have the time to enjoy the money, or you don't have the time or the money. And the thing is how do you get both? How do I have time and money? Okay, and I want to share with you guys something tonight that's kind of deep. You've probably never heard this before. This is going to be new information for you, but I want you to hear me out. Okay, so check this out. We've got time and we've got money. Time is stuff and change. That's how we measure time, stuff and change. Right? Think about it. The first caveman that ever started noticing time, what did he look at? He looked at stuff. Oh, that stump didn't have moss on it. Now it does. That signifies time happened. Right? How do we look at time in our lives? We look at, my kids were young and now they're not. They changed. Right? I had this thing and now it's old and it's dilapidated. I have a house and it was brand new and now it's not. I have a car and it was squeaky clean and new and now it's not. Change and time, it represents each other, right? So when you have stuff and you've got change, you look at that and you say, well, time happened. Okay, the reality is time doesn't exist. It's not a real thing any more than an inch exists. It's an arbitrary measuring system we put together in order to understand change. Okay, we're really trying to understand change as it relates to the universe and the world around us. People change, things change, opportunities change, right? And it's that evolution of nothing stays the same. So when we say, I don't have enough time, what we're really protesting, we're really against is we're saying, my life is changing and I'm not there for it. My kids are growing up. I'm not there for it, right? I've got all this stuff that I want to enjoy and it's getting old and I'm not going to be able to enjoy it so much. And I'm not there to do the things I want to do. My body ages, it changes, and I'm not there using and maximizing my youth. That's what time is, right? So what do? We go to work where we trade our time for money. Well, what are we really doing at work? You're creating change. You work construction, you're changing objects into structures. You're an accountant, you're changing confusion into chaos, or into organization, chaos into organization, right? You're a chiropractor, you're changing somebody who's beat up and sore into somebody who's in good shape. It's change, right? So you're trading your ability to change things in exchange for money. Okay, here's the thing. We confuse money with time. Because we trade them, right? We trade our time for money. We confuse the two and we think they are equal to each other. Okay, somebody who's really busy and stressed out and they barely have enough time for anything, usually they're hoarding their money. Some of the busiest people I know, they have bank accounts full of cash. Literally, they're just keeping it there. Why? Because they can't control time, change, so they're going to control the thing they're trading it for. They're grasping at straws with their time and they're not succeeding with it, so they end up doing the thing with the money. I'm going to hang on to it because I can't hang on to the time. I can't prevent the change from happening. Okay, so time is change and stuff, right? Money is energy and action. Energy and action. So here's what I mean by this. Money operates as a current. You think about electrical currents, currents of water, it operates on the same principles. Right, let's take water, for example. Water flows, money does too. Water flows from one point to another. If there's a current, the water continues to go, just like if there's a flow of money, it continues to go. You have a paycheck, that's a flow of money. You get it from a source, a reservoir of more money, just like if you had a river, it comes from a source of water, a reservoir of more water, right? So I want you to think about this, right? Money can't flow from somewhere where it didn't exist first, just like water can't flow from somewhere where it didn't exist first. If you were to take energy and you were to store it up, just like you can do with energy, you can do the same thing with money. You can grab it, you can store it up, and you would have money potentially for later, just like you'd have energy potentially for later. We learned about this, static and kinetic in school, right? So money is energy and action. So what happens, and let's take the human body, for example. What happens with the human body when it takes in energy and it stores that energy as if it's a possession? It gets fat. That's what happens, right? You calories or units, measurements of energy, you bring in the energy. If you don't use the energy, you get fat, right? Similarly, if you don't bring in enough energy, you get skinny. You start losing weight, you become malnourished. Money works the same way. If you bring in energy, money, and you don't use it and you store it, you are going to become financially obese. Financially obese means you're indecisive, you're inactive, you're wasting away. Literally, it's like just count down the days, right? Same thing with a body that's that way. It's inactive. It's not going to be as good. It's not going to be as healthy. Just like a financial condition is not going to be as healthy if someone's storing up their financial calories, if you will. The energy, they're not using the energy, right? Think about your car. If you did not drive your car, would you continue filling up the gas tank? No, you'd be like, there's no reason to. It's got a full tank already. I don't need to keep putting gas into it. Now, if you drive it, you consume, you burn off the energy. Yes, you'd then refill it. One of the reasons people don't bring in more income is because their tank is already full. They need to get rid of some money. This is going to be counterintuitive because what are we told? Save and scrimp and conserve and don't spend and build it all up. Guys, when I want to make more money, the first thing I do is I get rid of money. Okay, let's be honest, show of hands if you've had this happen, paycheck to paycheck, or you're broke, or your business isn't going so well, and you're short on money, and your back is against the wall, and a level of creativity kicks in that you didn't know you had, and you end up making more money than you ever had before in a very short amount of time. Who's had that happen? Right? Comments, likes, show of hands if you have. I've had that happen more times than one until I figured out that that's actually how the game works. Okay, so I have to get rid of money just like I would have to get rid of gas before my car could take in more of it. I got to burn it off. I got to burn off the gas. Who thinks that that makes sense? It makes sense. You got to burn off what you have before you put more in. So if money is a flow and I've dammed up the flow, I've stopped it. It's not flowing out. It flows in, but it doesn't flow out, right? The money comes in and it builds up and it builds up, and I've got this pool and it doesn't ever come out anywhere. And he just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. That's not any better than not enough money coming in because you're not allowing it to flow. You're not allowing it to be a current, right? What does this have to do with your quality of life? Here's what it has to do with your quality of life. You improve your quality of life today, right? I want you to picture a money stream, right? We've got a money stream happening. Instead of currents of water, you got dollar bills happening, right? This stream of money should flow from point A to point B. Okay. Point A is the source. Point B are investments. And we could also put generosity here. Because at a certain point, it's like, okay, how much more investing do I need to do? Right? Investments and generosity. Now, if this were a river, this is your ocean, right? You've got all these things you can invest in, all of these donations and causes you can help. And you've got your source here. Right now, if you're smart, you do some of these investments so that they come back around and they refeed the source. Okay. However, along the way, you have physical health, you have relationships, you have travel, you have family, you've got goals, you got the good old bucket list. You've got things that require resources, right? And so we have been told with the retirement, here's how messed up this gets us, guys. We've been told the stream is time, not money. The stream is time, and A is where we are now, our current age, and B is age 65. And we've got this stream, and we take all this stuff here, and we're going to put it off, and we're going to get rid of it, and we're going to do it finally when we turn 65 because the stream is of time, it's not of money. Time is not energy, it doesn't flow. It can't be the stream. So the stream has nothing to do with time. The stream has everything to do with the current, the flow of your money. Okay. Now you should flow your money in a way that it does go to from point A to point B, but just like any current or river, the water inside the banks of the river does actually help the vegetation on the outside. Right? You would see trees and grass and different things growing because that flow continues to happen. You see what I'm getting at with this? If you have the flow happening correctly, you should be able to fund your investments. You should be able to fund your generosity, but you should also be able to fund the important things in your life today. Right? Now, the other thing that happens with energy and currents is a circuit. That's what I'm explaining here. You go A to B, right? So you want to start at the source of the active income and the things we do to bring in the money. We flow it through our lives in a way where it actually funds and nurtures the things that matter to us today, not just when we're 65 years old. It gets to point B where we're investing and we're donating, but we do that in a way that benefits the source. So when I invest, I'm not investing in something I can't touch for 20 years. That doesn't benefit the source. It doesn't create a circuit. Right? The circuit comes back around and it refeeds itself. You want to create the circuit. So the investments kick back around. The generosity, it does it in a way where my quality of life gets improved because the world around me is being improved. See what I mean? It makes my life better because the community I live in became better. The city I live in became better. The state, the country, whatever it might be. Okay, because we can have a bunch of wealthy people in a country that's going down the drain. I don't think any of us think that that's the ideal scene. It doesn't matter what political party you're in. You're going to say, I want the country doing better. I want the country doing better, right? I want the state doing better. I want the neighborhood doing better. I want my family doing better. So these things create this circuit, right? So how do we do this? Because this is great. This is all imagery to give you the idea and the picture of what this looks like. But how do we practically do this, right? So here's how we're going to go about doing this. Triangle of wealth. One of the things I've talked about for many years, it's earn, save, invest. Earn, save, invest. Finances are that simple. Anyone that tells you is more complicated doesn't have your best interest in mind, right? And you'll get these people that they look at this and they're like, that's way too simple, right? Someone that says that's way too simple, it shows how ignorant they are on the topic. Someone that really knows the topic can take something very complex and make it very simple. That's how you know someone knows their stuff, right? Someone that's confident with something, someone that can, do things in a way that are maybe not the normal and the standard, and they get better than average results. They really know their stuff. Somebody who's like, oh, we better be careful. You should be afraid of that. You don't want to handle your money yourself because, man, something bad could happen. And you should really let the trained professionals handle your money for you, right? The guys on Wall Street and the banks, they really, even though they've robbed you several times, it's okay because they have letters behind their names and certificates on their wall, and they're part of their own club. So you should really listen to them instead of yourself. No. Money's super simple. 12 years old, you mow the lawn. You just earned, right? Done. You take some of the money, you save it. My 13-year-old does this, guys. Like, we have him going around the house doing chores. We have a point system. He can get a cut of what we make in the household income by doing his chores and being up with his statistics. He has stats and points he tracks every week. It's a weekly game. He earns income. He is already doing more than millions of Americans are at the age of 13 years old. I want you to think about that, right? It's not hard. It is not hard to earn income. It is super easy. Just go earn the income. Find something that someone needs help with and go help them with it and get income. Done, right? So you're in the income. Now, here's the current we talked about. You save a percentage first. See, if you don't save a percentage first, think about the river. You're not creating point B. You have to have a point to flow from and a point to flow to. If you do not pay yourself first, you are not creating a point for your income, your money, your stream, your energy to flow to. So you're not going to have a stream. You're not going to have a river. You're going to have like a little geyser that gushed and then it dried out. That's called paycheck to paycheck. It gushed and then it dried out. There was nothing left. So you pay yourself a percentage of your income first. Okay. You take that and it builds and it builds and it builds. And once there's enough of a flow and a current there, you would then release it to the next point, which is investing. You would invest in things that obviously don't lose. So we call that low risk. And it has a steady yield. Yield means income. You want income producing investments. Why? Because that then reinforces your earn. That's that current that we talked about. Now, here's the thing. You are not going to save 100% of your income, are you? So you should be aiming to save 40%. Hey, what's up? Jerry here. I just wanted to give you another reminder. Grab my book, Blueprint to Financial Freedom. It's going to be one of the best books you have ever read on finance. I can promise you that. You're going to love it. It's also a free offer. So if you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, you can get that now. I know people tell you 5 and 10 and 15. Guys, we study the top 1%. Historically, they've done 40. That's their number. I would not be helping you if I told you something different. I know it's a big number. I know it's audacious. I know it's crazy. I know not many people do it. If you want to build real wealth, save 40% of your income. Strive for that. Instead of like, oh, it's impossible. And these people have advantages and this and that. No. 80% of millionaires are first generation. There's not an advantage. Hard work, grit, determination, perseverance. These guys are tougher than nails. You need to be that way, right? So you save 40% of your income. Now, the other 60 goes to water those crops we mentioned on the side. right? The goals, the lifestyle, the quality of life with your active income. Now, here's the beautiful thing, and this is where people go wrong. It drives me nuts to see this. We're told invest in the retirement account. Who gets the money first when we invest in the retirement account? Wall Street. So we're not paying yourself first, you're paying Wall Street first. Who gets the money second on the retirement account? The IRS does. When you pull the money out, you automatically owe them taxes. Who gets it third? Not you, the bank. It goes into a bank account. They get to borrow against your deposits and do their whole Ponzi scheme. You get it fourth. You get the money last when you pay yourself first with a retirement plan, right? At least the traditional Wall Street type. You never end up improving your quality of life. So what I do is I invest in non-retirement investments, precious metals leasing, seller finance real estate, rental real estate, things that are going to pay me income now. And here's what I do. That income, half of it, it's reinvested, right? So it flows through, right? I'm going to have half of it that's going to get reinvested. And when I say reinvested, it means 40% is going to be saved, 10% is going to be donated, right? 40% is going to be saved, 10% is going to be donated. That means I'm, again, putting my future there. I'm making the world a better place. I'm making my future better. The other 50, I get to use to improve my quality of life, right? I'm going to pay taxes with some of it. Sure, I can minimize that if I do good planning. But guys, so when I invest, let's say I get $500 a month because I invested 50,000 at 12%. 250 of that goes towards saving and donating. 250 of that I'm going to put in my pocket and spend on whatever I want. Dates with my wife, travel, living in a nicer place, like whatever it would be that I want to spend it on, so that my quality of life goes up today. Can you see how this works when you continue doing it this way? Every time you invest, your future gets better, the world gets better, and your quality of life today gets better. This is better than retirement. This is by far better than retirement, guys. And this is how the wealthy did it. They did not say, okay, like the retirement accounts, first of all, didn't even exist. When I talk about the 1%, they got to be dead. That's the first qualification. They got to be in the top 1%. And they need to have the wealthy life by definition. Like they need to be happy. I want them to be dead, 1%er, and I want to see they lived a happy life. Right? So I can look at that and be like, okay, good. All the old dead guys that were wealthy, 1%ers, and they were happy, they didn't have the 401k plan. They didn't have the IRA. They did not use any of those things. So then where did they invest? And that's where I came up with the book, right? Like the book is something that I looked at and I was like, okay, good. Like this here, the Blueprint to Financial Freedom, this is something that when you look at it, it's like, okay, this here is based on what the wealthy actually did when they did it. And what is the modern day equivalent of this? You will not see retirement accounts in here. You will not see me telling you put money in the 401k, the IRA, none of that stuff. Why? Because the 1% didn't use those things. What did they use? And the book talks about that, right? So this is not about like which financial tool is the best one. It's not about any of those things, okay? This is about, okay, you want to build a wealthier life today, do you not? So if you want to build a wealthier life today, what better people to study than those that did it? Okay, and I want to clarify this before we wrap up, right? When I talk about people that actually did it, I'm not talking about, the John Rockefellers of the world, and these people that we look at in history and we're like, the Rothschilds, oh, they were wealthy, but also they destroyed people and they made lives worse and made them miserable. No, I'm talking about, the Teddy Roosevelts, right? My boy Teddy, I've got him right on my desk here, right? I'm talking about, the Andrew Carnegies of the world. I'm talking about the Ben Franklins of the world. That dude was a top 1%er. Okay, I'm talking about Charlie Munger, investing legend, now qualifies to be in that category. He died recently, so he's old, dead, right? He's dead, wealthy, and he lived a happy life. He's a man of integrity. Like you look at, so these are the people we're talking about and studying. So we want to see, okay, what did they do? Okay, so I told you guys at the beginning of this that I would show you how do you improve your quality of life today. I was going to teach you some stuff about money that you didn't know. Show of hands and show me in the comments if you're watching the replay. Who for this was new, learning about the time thing being change and stuff and money being the energy, the flow, and the current. Who had that for the first time? Right, just show me some hands if that was your first time learning about that. Good. So guys, this is the purpose of again, financial training. right? Like financial training means we learn stuff we didn't know about it, and we've got to get out of those mindsets. So if you're watching this right now, what I want to do is as a gift, if you're watching live or you're watching the replay, right? I want to share a free gift with you. If you have not gotten a copy of my book, I mentioned my book, Blueprint to Financial Freedom, right? I want to give you a free copy of this. So if you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, you can also scan the QR code, right? You can scan the QR code on the screen. You can grab a free copy of the book, right? And if you thought that this little bit of training tonight for 20, 30 minutes was good and helpful, the book's even better, right? This is over 10 years for me, almost a decade and a half now of doing this. I've been doing this since I was 18 years old, right? I'm 32 now, right? So you do the math on that. But researching the top 1%, studying them, seeing what are they doing? How do they improve their lives? How do you, and not only how do they improve their lives, how are they so consistent at it, right? We hear this all the time. The rich get richer. Okay, when somebody can consistently do something, it's because they've developed a methodology. The reason we can build houses in neighborhoods over and over and over is why? Because we have a blueprint. We have blueprints on homes. We know how to build houses now. It is, as a civilization, that is not a mystery. So when you look at the Social Security Administration coming out and saying 95% of Americans are going to fail at their finances, and only 5% of them are going to be financially secure at age 65, and you look and you see that the majority of wealth belongs to 1% of the population, right? That means that we don't have it figured out yet. How many banks do we have? You go in any major city, I want you to look at the skyline. How many banks and Wall Street firms do you see that own the skyline of every major city in America? I was watching a show last night. It was dated back in the 1800s, and one of the characters said, "You can tell who a society worships by who has the biggest buildings." So he's talking about, the Greeks, it was like the temples, and you had, libraries and different things in various cultures. You see that. And I was thinking about in today's culture, what are our biggest buildings? Banks, Wall Street firms, right? So we have all of this, college degrees and financial advisors and Wall Street firms and banks and markets and this and that, and people are still failing. We don't have that with a house building. How many times do you see like, 95% of houses fail? No, it doesn't happen. Why? Because the house is easy to tell when someone's lying. There's either a house there or it's not. It either passed the inspection or it didn't. So I want to ask you, what is the inspection for your financial blueprint? It's whether or not you're happy right now and you're doing well with your finances. If you're not increasing your income, increasing your net worth, increasing your passive income, increasing your quality of life, donating money, investing for the future, and creating that flow that I talked about today, you're failing the inspection of your own financial blueprint. And you need to grab the book. The book is going to help you with that. So guys, that's all I've got for tonight. I want to thank you for watching. If you were on live, I appreciate it. If you're watching the replay, feel free to comment below with your questions. I always answer them. So have a great weekend. Have a great Friday. I'll see you next time. Hey, this is Jerry Fetta here. I want to thank you for watching my video, watching my content. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to learn more about the Blueprint to Financial Freedom and how you can achieve passive income that exceeds your savings, your expenses, your taxes, your generosity, and build wealth like the top 1%, I want to encourage you, grab a copy of my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. You can go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, or you can click the link in the description of the video here. The copy is free. You cover your shipping. We'll send the book out to you, and we'll send you an email with a bunch of great bonus material also for free. Get the book, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on my next content.